Hi everyone, my name is Adam and I'm going to be doing a tutorial today on some basic expressions and motion graphics within After Effects. So I'm just going to jump right in. I'm going to drag my AI file to my project. I'm going to import this as a composition and retain layer sizes. I'm going to open up my composition. I'm going to make sure that my composition is 10 seconds and 29.97 frames per second. And you can either have this 720 or 1080p. Alright, so I'm going to turn on all of my motion blur. I'm going to turn my motion blur on, it's already on. And then I'm going to jump over here and turn off all my layers. I'm going to start with the BG and I'm going to lock it. So the first item that we're going to be animating, and the only item, will be the TV. I'm going to turn these layers on. I'm going to pre-compose these. I'm going to call this TV and move all attributes. And I'm going to turn on the motion blur for that layer. So the layer that we're going to be animating is the face layer. And the mouth is part of that face layer, so I'm going to parent the mouth to the face. So now whenever I animate the face, the mouth will follow. So I'm going to jump to 15 frames. I'm going to set a keyframe. I'm going to come back here and I'm going to move the face outside of the TV. And now I'm going to jump to 1.5 seconds. And I'm going to make another keyframe. I'm going to jump to 2 seconds. And then I'm going to move the face outside of the TV. Right about there. So now if I play this back, it comes in, stops, and leaves. And that's okay, but I would rather have this ease in and out. So I'm going to add an easy ease. You can add ease in or out and play with the graph editor, but for this I'm just going to use easy ease. It's just a lot nicer. And with the motion blur it looks great. Okay, so now that that's animated, I'm going to add the expressions to these bottom layers here. I'm going to turn light on and off on. I'm going to go to position. And what you want to do is hold down Option or Alt on your keyboard and click. This will open up the code editor where you can type in the expression. So this expression is this comp dot layer, and then you have to target the layer that you want to receive the animation from, which is the face layer. Then you have to target the transform within that layer, and then the position within that layer. Now this will do the exact same animation as the face at the exact same time, but we don't want that, we want it to delay. So in order to do that, we have to add a bit more code at the end. And the code is value at time with capital A and T, and then time, and whatever time you want the animation to happen within this layer. So we want it to delay 2 seconds. So if I play this back, you'll notice right at 2 seconds the light will start coming in. And we want to do that with this light up here as well, because later we're going to be animating the light on. So I'm going to copy and paste this exact expression for the light on, so that they do the exact same animation. Okay, so I'm going to do that to the rest of the layers, and when I'm done, I'll explain what's happening. Okay, so now that that's done, here we have the two light layers, which will be doing the exact same animation at 2 seconds. Here we have the video layer, which will be doing the animation at 4 seconds. And then we have the last two that are doing, one will be at 6 and one will be at 8. And basically this just sequences the animation. Okay, so with that done, what we want is these items to be hidden when they're not inside the TV. So in order to do that, we need to create a mask for each layer. And I actually have that mask right here. So what I'm going to do is drag this mask above the mouth layer. And in order to make the mouth have that mask around the TV, we need to track matte that mouth to the TV mask. And we're going to actually have to apply that to the face as well. So what you want to do is duplicate the TV mask, drag that below, so it's just above the face, and then you have to do the same thing within the face layer as you did with the mouth layer. So it's an alpha matte on the TV mask. So when you see it animated, you'll see that it's hidden when it's not inside the TV now. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to every single layer down here. So with that done, you'll notice that each layer has its own mask. And in order to mask it, you have to apply the alpha track matte. Okay, so now that the animation's done and the masks are applied to each layer, I want to animate the light. But I don't want to animate it within this composition. So what I'm going to do is pre-compose these layers. I'm going to call this light, and I'm going to move all attributes to the new composition. So now we get an error. And the reason we're getting an error is because the expression doesn't make sense. So in order to fix that, we have to jump into the light composition. Let's click P for position and open up the expressions. So the face layer that we're targeting isn't in this composition, it's in this composition. So we have to target that differently. So in order to do that, we have to type comp and then target the comp, which is 5 images. And this will fix that problem. I have to do it to this layer as well. And there you go, it does the exact same animation, but in this composition. And that's all I have. That's a little introduction to expressions. Please follow us on Twitter and Facebook, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. My name's Adam, and thank you for watching.